It was late in the afternoon of a dark and rainy day when Paulinus left the little village where he had found shelter for the night. The village lay in a great forest country in the heart of Gaul. The scattered folk that inhabited it were mostly heathens, and very strange and secret rites were still celebrated in lonely sanctuaries. Christian teachers, of whom Paulinus was one, travelled alone or in little companies along the great high roads, turning aside to visit the woodland hamlets, and labouring patiently to make the good news of the word known. They were mostly unmolested, for they travelled under the powerful name of Romans, and in many places they were kindly received. Paulinus had been for months slowly faring from village to village, without any fixed plan of journeying, but asking his way from place to place as the Spirit led him. He was a young man, a very faithful Christian, and with a love of adventure and travel which stood him in good stead. He carried a little money, but he had seldom need to use it, for the people were simple and hospitable. He did not try to hold assemblies, for he believed that the gospel must spread like leaven from quiet heart to quiet heart. Indeed, he did not purpose to proclaim the word, but rather to prepare the way for those that should come after. He was of a strong habit, spare and upright. When he was alone he walked swiftly, looking very eagerly about him. He loved the aspect of the earth, the green branching trees, the wild creatures of the woodland, the voices of the birds, and the sound of streams. And he had, too, a great and simple love for his own kind, and though he had little eloquence, he had a plentiful command of friendly and shrewd talk, and even better than he loved to speak, he loved to listen. He had a sweet and open smile that drew the hearts of all whom he met to him, especially of the children, and he loved his wandering life in the free air, without the daily cares of settled habit. He had spent the night with an old and calm man who had been a warrior in his youth, but who could do now little but attend to his farm. Paulinus had spoken to him of the love of the Father, and the tender care that Jesus had to his brothers on earth. The old man had listened courteously, and had said that it sounded fair enough, but that he was too old to change, and must stand in his ancient ways. Paulinus did not press him. His custom was never to do that. In the morning he had gone to and fro in the village, and it was late before he thought of setting out. The old man had pressed him to stay another night, but something in Paulinus' heart had told him that he must not wait, for it seemed to him that there was work to be done. The old man came with him to the edge of the forest, and gave him very particular directions to the village he was bound for, which lay in the heart of the wood. "Of one thing I must advise you," he said. "There is, in the wood, some way off the track, a place to which I would not have you go. It is a temple of one of our gods, a dark place. Be certain, dear sir, to pass it by. No one would go there willingly, save that we are sometimes compelled." He broke off suddenly here and looked about him fearfully. Then he went on in a low voice, "It is called the Temple of the Grey Death, and there are rites done there of which I may not speak. I would it were otherwise, but the gods are strong, and the priest is a hard and evil man, who won his office in a terrible way, and shall lose it no less terribly. Oh, go not there, dear stranger." And he laid his hand upon his arm. "Dear brother," said Paulinus, "I have no mind to go there, but your words seem to have a dark meaning behind them. What are these rites of which you speak?" But the old man shook his head. "I may not speak of them," he said. "It is better to be silent." Then they took a kind leave of each other, and Paulinus said that he would pass again that way to see his friend, "for we are friends, I know." And so he went into the wood. It was a wood of very ancient trees, and the dark leaves roofed over the grassy track, making a tunnel. The heavens grew too dark above, and Paulinus heard the drops patter along the leaves. Generally he loved well enough to walk in the woodways, but here it seemed different. He would have liked a companion. Something sinister and terrible seemed to him to hide within these gloomy avenues, and the feeling grew stronger every moment. But he said to himself some of the simple hymns with which he often cheered his way, and felt again that he was with the hands of God.